going to talk um, what RealCare Baby even is. We want to make sure that if you're not familiar with the RealCare Baby and RealCare program, that you understand what it's all about. And then we're going to dive into some of the new features that we have with this model and compare it to the most recent one, our RealCare Baby 3, and so you can see kind of how they can work together. Then we're going to talk all about the new app that students have access to. That's really a game changer for the experience. We will talk about the curriculum because that is really just such an important part of all the products that we have. We will also provide you with some free resources and some links. And then, of course, at the end, we will be watching for questions along the way, but we're happy to answer each and every question any of you might have. So let's go ahead and meet our RealCare Baby 4. So Realityworks is very, very proud to announce the birth of our newest RealCare Baby infant simulator, known as RealCare Baby 4. This is considered the world's most advanced infant simulator. And we have educators around the world that have used this unique product and learning age to teach things like childhood education or early childhood education, childcare skills, parenting, infant health lessons, and even sex education. But this smart baby really adds meaning and accountability by using Bluetooth technology to track and report all of the caregiver behaviors. And we are going to highlight all of the new and exciting things that RealCare Baby 4 can do. So we have to thank our team because this baby was years in the making, and we are so excited to finally share all the exciting ways that the RealCare program has been updated and enhanced. So let's begin. Here's an overview of the primary new features to the baby, the software, and the curriculum. And in today's webinar, we are going to take a closer look at each part of this incredible new simulation experience. But just like in RealCare Baby, any prior ones that we had, there's always an accountability system that will hold that student accountable for the care that they've given to a specific infant. And we always provide the software that can be used for practice as well as programming a simulation. For every model that we've had, we've always included curriculum because we know how important that it is. And we also want to save teachers time. Uh, some of the new things, though, that we've built in involve interaction, baby interaction, new care events, new health and safety, and also a new what we call mishandle event of things that you should not do with a newborn infant. So let's talk a little bit about the accountability system we have. And for those of you that know RealCare Baby in the program, you know that in the past, students have worn an ID system that they have held up to the baby at the beginning of each care event. You know, baby cries. That's always the first sign the baby is asking or needs care. And now we are using Bluetooth technology, which makes it even more seamless and realistic to provide the care to the infant. So they still do wear an ID system. It's a new one because it's Bluetooth. But when the baby starts to cry and it signals the beginning of needing care, the student's going to pick that baby up. And because they're wearing that Bluetooth ID, it will seamlessly identify them as the parent or the caregiver, and it will record that in the software. And then you go ahead and complete the care event, but all of the care is still tracked and reported on during the simulation. It just makes it more seamless and easier for the student. We still have our terrific control center software. And for those of you that may have prior models of RealCare Baby, if you've been able to successfully program using the software in the past, you'll already know how to do it in the future because it's really exactly the same. We've just added a few things to it, but it mimics what you've done in the past. We've also tried to make some very intentional decisions if you have what we're calling a mixed population. If you have a prior model, which would be your RealCare Baby 3, and you purchase a RealCare Baby 4, you can program both models from the same software platform. You don't have to go to two different places. You can use the same software, and it will be very, very easy. I promise you that. We've made it backward compatible with the threes so you can program both the demo mode and simulations for efficiency. One thing we've added is start and end time choices now are by the minute instead of the top of the hour or half hour. And that was a feature that teachers were asking about for many years. And I'm happy to say that we're finally able to do that. If you have RealCare Baby, there are 15 schedules based on the behavior of 15 newborns. That's always been the case. We now have with RealCare Baby 4, we've taken those same 15 schedules and we've added a new care event to it. So when you go into the software, if you have RealCare Baby 3, the software will recognize that you are programming for the threes and give you the schedules 1 through 15. However, if you are scheduling for a 4, the computer software income software will recognize that and will automatically give you schedules 16 through 30. Now, those are the same 15 schedules except with the new care event added. But if you have a 4 and you wish to go back to any of the classic 15 schedules, you can manually do that as well. So we've tried to make this extremely easy and flexible to use with mixed populations any way that you would like. And of course, the reports that you get on the back end are still there. They are just going to have even more information for you. There is a new care event, a play event that we'll be talking about. There are some new data points that it will collect. It will collect tummy time, as well as the time that the caregiver will talk to the infant and it will babble back to you. So all of those things are reported on in the two-page report as they always were. So we did update the curriculum. We now have two different ones. Basic infant care is really our high school level curriculum, and we also do have a middle school as well. So depending on which grade level that you're teaching at, there's something for all of you. And we also have 15 different lessons in each. Each lesson could be a standalone lesson, or you could teach the whole thing. It comes with pre and post tests. It comes with handouts, answer keys, slide presentations with lecture notes for each and every lesson that you do. So there's just a lot of great information and great engaging things for your students in these two curricula. Now, one of the most important things we've added is some baby interactivity. And there's a voice recognition where it's going to respond to being talked to with a babble. And I'm going to play just a little bit of that for you right now. Ba 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 ba. Ba ba ba. Ba 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 ba. Isn't that the cutest? So that's the type of babble back that the baby will do when the caregiver has picked it up and is talking to it within a close range and they have that ID on. We have done this because we know that we want to encourage socialization, nurturing, bonding, and interacting with your baby. So there are 4 to 5 different short bits of that baby babble audio track that will give your caregivers, they'll hear that intermittently when they speak and interact with the infant in their care. And this really delights the students, bringing an instant smile. It's just wonderful. So, and that's also a data point again on that page 2 of the report. Teachers may require that students interact and speak to the RealCare Baby, say a specific number of times, and they'll now be able to see if the student has done so. Baby will only respond when it's in awake mode, not asleep, just like a real infant would. But this has been one of the most favorite new features of Baby when we've done testing with students. So we think that that's just a game changer. Another thing that we have added is a new care event, which we're calling Playtime. And this is an event where it will begin with the baby giggling, and that's the signals the start of the play event. You're going to pick the baby up and you're going to listen for the chime to start. And then we have a toy. You turn that toy on and you shake it, every 15 to 20 seconds during the play event. And then at the end of the event, the baby's going to coo, and that's going to signal the end of the event. And I'm just going to play you a little bit of the giggle that you're going to hear. I just love that belly laugh. So if your students are frustrated or if the baby's been crying and a play event happens and they get that belly giggle, it just diffuses any tension and you can't help but laugh yourself because it's just a wonderful thing. And you will find your students feel like they are bonding more with that infant. And again, this has just been one of those features that when we've tested this with students, one of their favorites. Moving on, so we have also added some infant health and safety features more than ever before. So there is going to be an app that we're going to talk about in a little bit, but on the app, students are going to be able to tell if the baby is awake or asleep. Now, in awake mode, we really want to encourage caregivers or students to give the baby some tummy time, just like you would in real life. So this is recorded as a data point on page 2 of that student report. Now, as an instructor, you could require your students to do tummy time several times during the simulation, and you'd be able to see if they did that. But we also want to encourage safe sleep position while in a sleep mode. So the position sensor in the baby knows if it's on its face when it's asleep, and if it is, it's a wrong position. And baby will cough and cry until it's turned back over onto its back, which is that safe sleep position. Another thing, temperature and fever is something that is done through the app as well. And there's going to be more details on this coming up. But basically, you touch the button for taking the temperature, hold it up to baby's forehead, a temperature is going to register, and then you must choose whether it's normal or a fever. And then you submit what you would do if your baby had this temperature. Now, we've also added another mishandle event, that being dangerous sound exposure. So if students have a baby out on a simulation and the baby is exposed to a sound over 94 decibels, and that's similar to a loud car horn, it's going to go into a mishandle event with that loud cry for just over a minute. It's that abuse cry, and you need to hold down and comfort the baby until it calms down. So if you're new to RealCare Baby, just a refresher, the mishandle events that it will record in during care is if you don't support the head, so that shaken baby, rough handling, wrong position, and now we have that dangerous sound exposure. And any mishandle event will take points off the final score, where students are also doing 5 care events. They're doing diaper changing, feeding, rocking, burping, and now playing. And for all the positive care events that they handle and do, they get a good score. So the final report comes out with a number on it, a score, and you take all of the positive and all the care events that they've done well and successful, and the mishandle events take points away, and that comes out with your final score. So just a little bit of review on how the scoring works. Now we have some new supplies and accessories that you'll see when you order a RealCare Baby 4. So these are the toy rattle, which is the purple object that you see above. We also do have a tummy time blanket that's light blue. It will now replace that receiving blanket that used to be in the baby's accessory package. We have a student ID. The same wristbands will work with the Bluetooth IDs, but the IDs will look slightly different than the classic RealCare Baby 3 ones do. And then we have updated the color of the two-piece outfits. It's more of a royal blue and what we're calling a mauve color that you see on the screen in front of you. So when you look at them, you'll see that they do look different than the threes, but also always, if you're wondering which model you have, you just need to turn it over and look at the back cover, and it will always identify the model that you have on the back cover of Baby. So we had also made some very intentional decisions about making RealCare Baby 3 accessories and supplies compatible and usable with your RealCare Baby 4. So things like the diapers, the bottles, or if you have a breastfeeding device for the feeding event, those can be used on 4s as well. The charging is the same as it's always been. We do provide the same diaper bag now, and again, it works with either one. And then, of course, all of our car seats, our carriers, storage, everything can still be used with either model. And of course, those same wristbands. So if you've been stockpiling and purchasing in bulk, you can still use the same wristbands with the 3s or the 4s. You just have to have the appropriate ID with the babies. So you'll see a lot of the program things. You don't have to worry about getting them mixed up because they will work on either model. And now we're going to talk a little bit about RealCare Baby 4's brand new student app. And the next portion of the webinar, we're going to look at each part of the app because we think it's such an important game-changing part of the student experience. Now, please know that this is not required, but it's highly encouraged for your students to use this to enrich their simulation experience. There are several parts of the new app that even RealCare Baby 3 users can also access, but more about that in a bit. but just a kind of an overview of it. It's going to give your students real-time and status information on is the baby on or off? Is it in a care event? Real-time reporting is one of the most beloved features because now students will be able to know real time how they are doing throughout a simulation. No longer do they have to wait until the end of the simulation when they get the report to see how they did. They can make mid-simulation corrections, and that is also a game changer. You can also use the app for journaling and notes. There are going to be daily scenarios that appear once a day when your students go into the app where they have to problem solve and submit their answers to you about that scenario. But there's also a note section where you can create your own writing prompts or journal things that you want students to answer and write about and submit to you. And that's also part of the thing that the RealCare Baby 3s can access. There are some care event videos, safety instructions. This is also where that temperature or fever activity can be done, as well as FAQs. So you can see there's a lot built into the app, but it's available for free on Android platforms as well as iPhone at Apple. Here's a recap or comparison of the RealCare Baby 3 and RealCare Baby 4. And really the highlights are, and the bottom line thing to know, RealCare Baby 4 will do everything that our RealCare Baby 3 did, just more. So if you've got RealCare Baby 3, it's an awesome infant simulator and just great as is. We've taken that experience and tried to even enrich it even more with our student app and with the new play event, that new loud noise exposure mishandle event, and the tummy time and the temperature. So you can just kind of see the things that what we've added and changed. But please know there are many things that the Real Care Baby 3 can access and find useful on both the app and in the curriculum. So let's take a closer look at that app. So here's an overview of the 4 tabs that you will find at the bottom of the app. That's status, notes, learning, and the notifications tab. Now, each tab will take students to a different part of the app and give them access to different information. And you can see on the screen what each of the tabs will take them to. And I think the status tab is going to be used a lot. And I also think that the notes tab will be used the most as well. So to get that real-time status, that's very helpful. When students access that, they are going to know how their baby is doing. And it should result in fewer calls to teachers when baby's deployed. Sometimes students are afraid if it's quiet, it's not working, or if it won't stop crying, it's broken, and they call their teachers and they want to meet them, and no more. They can look at the app and they know exactly what is going on with their baby. Real-time reporting. This is likely the most important feature, really, I think, on the app. With this real-time reporting, students are going to get actionable feedback so they can make those changes or mid-sim corrections instead of waiting to the end. So now let's say if they see, oh, I've had a series of head support failures, they'll know, oh, I need to be more careful when I support that head. So you can see there's a screenshot there and of what they can see, but they'll also know if they've cared for it properly, the type of care, also if they've done any mishandle events. So again, great information, helpful and actionable during the simulation. Now here's what the notes section looks like, and it can be used in a lot of different ways. Instructors can provide writing prompts to answer, or students can journal daily about how their simulation experience is going. All of the information gets emailed to the instructor at the end. And this portion of the app can also be used by your RealCare Baby 3 users as well, if you have a blended program. This is also where you're going to see those scenarios pop up. And this is what the screen looks like when students see those scenarios. Let's say they go into the app for the first time that day. And each day a different scenario is going to pop up, and there are over 50 that they could get. They read the scenario, and then in the text box, they type their answer of how they would handle that, and they hit submit, and away you go. So students can also find videos of the 5 care events as well as proper handling. These how-to videos are really going to give your students a lot of peace of mind and hopefully also cut down on calls to instructors during simulation deployment. So we have one how-to video for each of the different care events, as well as a written um, process on how to do each one. We think by providing that, if students need a refresher at home, it gives them a great way of being able to do that. Here's how you take baby's temperature. You're gonna, and again, this can be used on RealCare Baby 3 or 4 to get added. It's just you press a different button, but once you're there, you tap on the temperature button for the 3 or the 4, and then you hold the device up to your baby's forehead, and it starts taking the temperature. And then a simulated temperature is going to appear, and students are going to decide if this is normal or reflective of a fever. Then in the space provided, they're going to describe the steps that they would take if a baby in their care had that temperature, and then they're going to submit it to instructors for review. So again, we just love adding health and safety things whenever we can. So the app also provides other helpful information. There are safety instructions, there are FAQs, uh, things like, oh, is the baby's toy on? What am I doing wrong? Many, many things that they can read in there and hopefully get their questions answered. There are instructions for the teacher to help your students get set up. These are provided to you. And I promise you it's very, very easy, whether they have a RealCare Baby 3 or 4. Access to that app is easy. Of course, the app is free. Students will have it on their phone and then they can delete it after the simulation is complete. So we provide a lot of helpful instructions to both instructors and students because we want to make the use as easy as possible. Let's take a look at the curriculum. So here's an overview of the basic infant care curriculum. This is the high school one. Remember, it has 15 lessons with all sorts of activities and resources. There is even a summative assessment available with answer key. So if you taught all 15 lessons, you did the culminating simulation experience, you would actually be able to use the summative assessment as kind of like the final if you wanted for your written test. And we also provide an answer key. But again, if you just want to take some of these lessons as standalone or take portions of the lessons, because we know teachers like to pick and choose from many sources when teaching on a topic, you can easily do that with any of these 15 lessons in the basic infant care. And here's just a list of one sample activity from each lesson. And this is just to show there's a lot of things going on and just rich content for you and your students. There are really multiple activities in each lesson, but this just gives you a glance at the types of things. There's going to be journaling, there's going to be hands-on doing some of those care events. There's going to be planning and all sorts of you know, things, health and safety, many, many things. So that's the point we wanted to get across. It's just how varied and rich the curriculum is. Similarly, you're going to have a middle school life skills and healthy choices. It was written by middle school teachers for that level. And all of the lessons in both curricula can be used with RealCare Baby 3s or 4s. There might be a little bit of adjustment on the simulation experience size based on some of those new RCV4 features, but easily most or all of the lessons can be used with a mixed population. And again, we wanted to highlight the fact that there are multiple activities in each of the lessons. The one from middle school really gets into some of the, relationships. What do healthy relationships look like? Some of the sexual wellness and sexual education types of topics. And then they would take baby home for one night, we would recommend instead of 2 or more nights that a high school student would have. We want to make the experience appropriate to the age and grade level. But again, there's so much in here that no need to reinvent the wheel. We provide answer keys, so like I said, PowerPoints, assessment, all sorts of things. At this time, we would like to share a few of the free resources that we have as you dive into RealCare Baby 4. We do have an implementation page available that has a plethora of resources on it. We have a specific program implementation guide that you can access. We have some RealCare 4 videos, and we're adding to that bank at our product support part of the website, as well as coming out with several more webinars featuring RealCare Baby 4 that you can look for in the future. They will be available live and archived after the real thing. And then we also have product videos available on the product page as well. So I've been giving you a lot of information, and I know Emily's been looking and watching for any questions along the way. So Em, at this time, I'm going to have you go ahead and share any questions that may have come over.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Denise. Well, folks, this is the time to ask. Denise is a wealth of information on baby and the development of baby and how to use baby. So take advantage. You can type a question into the chat section that's on the bottom of your screen or the Q&A section. So both of those work wonderfully. And we will go ahead and answer any questions live. While folks might be maybe contemplating a question or two, Denise, what if we've got a few of our attendees who are wanting more information on using three alongside four? Are there any
Um,
resources that we have to share with them?
Yeah, we have a blog out relating to that topic, but in a couple of weeks, we have devoted an entire webinar all about best practices for handling a blended program. And if you can't attend the live, we will also be recording that, and that will be available later this month on the archived section of our webinars portion of our website.
Awesome. Okay, thanks, Denise. So keep an eye on your inbox as we promote that as well. It looks like Heather's wondering, ooh, great question. When is baby going to be available to purchase?
You can purchase it now, and we are shipping as well. So if you want these for your fall programs, or as some of you go back to school, you can get them now.
Absolutely, yes. I am not seeing, let's see, maybe one more. Oh, yep. Sandra's wondering if we have a four, but do not want to use some of the new features, how would you manage that?
If you do not want to use some of the new features for if you didn't want the play event, you could simply use the classic schedules 1 to 15 when you set up the simulation, and just don't give your students the toy, and it would act just like a 3. If you did not wish to use the app, you don't have to. But boy, it sure does enrich the simulation experience. So, but again, it's very easy to manage both, but
Mm.
that's one way you could do it.
I will share a link in the chat now that it goes to a blog on teaching with both RealCare Baby 3 and RealCare Baby 4. Sandra and others, I think this would also give you a good understanding of how you might utilize the separate features and address them differently with your students. Um, and this we'll make sure we send this link via email as well because it's really got some great examples of what to do and what you might not, what you might choose to skip over or grade differently or look at differently if you're working on that blended program in particular. So I'm going to share that in the chat. And Denise, I'm not seeing any more questions. So I'm going to share another link in the chat as well, just in case anyone does happen to have a lingering question or thought, or is ready to even just connect with your local Realityworks account manager to get a quote or talk more about how you might incorporate RealCare Baby into your program. You can scan that QR code and fill out a quick form, and that'll put you in touch with your local, excuse me, Realityworks account manager. Or, of course, you can give us a call, send us an email, or even live chat on the website. So, again, a couple of links being shared here, both to a blog on using a blended classroom, so both RealCare Baby 3 and 4 together, and then a link to a web form that you can fill out, and that'll put you in touch with your local Realityworks account manager.
Excellent.
Awesome. Well, thanks everyone for joining us today. This was really fun to talk about. Please don't hesitate to contact us if you have any questions or concerns. Otherwise, thanks so much for taking the time.
Thank you, everyone.